Thank you, Madam Adelabu, and Chief, thank you for this invitation to speak today. Like you say, these are very important issues, important moment in Nigeria's world, outlook and engagement. And I think it's very important that we should congratulate the Nigerian delegation led by His Excellency Kashim Shettima, GCON Vice President, who stood in for the President. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Minister, Ambassador Yusuf Maitamatugar, for leading our delegation. We have achieved some landmark, events, there in terms of the high-level activities that we engage in, and also bilateral meetings on the margins of the General Assembly. But you have asked about the significance or the high point. I think the high point in President Tinubu's statement delivered by Vice President Shettima is the idea of governance. He has emphasized in his speech about the dangers that are facing democracy today. That is, if governments, democratic governments, could not deliver the basics and essentials of life to the people, then democracy itself becomes questionable, and its utility and purpose and functions becomes diluted and really becomes rather unsustainable in terms of the perception of the people, whether in the cities or villages or anywhere for that matter. Governance is at the heart of peace and security. Governance is at the heart of development, at the heart of resolving climate change, is at the heart of resolving regional and international issues. So where governments fail, you find vacuums being created, and these vacuums continue to perpetuate themselves and to expand and to create more problems. And I think if you look at, compare the statements of the Secretary General and that of the Vice President, they are in tandem in terms of commitment and the political will to resolve issues using the mechanisms of government and also using the platforms of multilateralism to address them. Within that context, the President's speech highlighted the importance of climate change, particularly in the Sahel and in Nigeria in terms of the natural disasters that are taking place of recent, and also in terms of meeting national and international commitments towards mitigation and adaptation and applying globally approved normative processes to resolve
commitments to COP.
Commitment to COP, exactly, that is one. And the UN Convention on Climate Change also is very important. Let us note the Tokyo outcomes and others. So the third issue I think being highlighted here is the idea of collective responsibility in terms of addressing issues like the debt structure or the debt inequality or the debt trap into which developing countries of the South are falling into. Without resolving the issue of debt and capital flight from our countries, there cannot be a meaningful and sustainable question of development in our countries, simply because capital is needed to stay in our countries in order to industrialize, to address our power deficit, to address our human capital development, to reduce poverty, to create employment, and so forth. So the General Assembly offers the opportunity for engagement and creating partnerships, and also of networking with other countries, with international organizations, and even private sector. You recall Vice President Shettima met with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, where I think pledges of about, is it 200 or 320 million US dollar investment was made. So these sort of outings reinforce confidence in the country and also convey the sense of purpose and deliberate action on the part of the leadership of the country towards reaching out to people and establishing the right conditions for partnership with other countries and other partners. So as you say, this was very important for Nigeria, and I think we should all collectively congratulate.
Are they in line of priority?
Yeah.
Did you give in line of priority?
Well, in line of, yes, first governance is critical to everything.
Yes, okay.
And then addressing the challenges of climate change and debt, relief. Okay. And stemming the capital flight, I think is important.
Okay.
Yeah, very good.